first off, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. We're talking about depression. Okay, I'll clip this out and put this in the beginning of the video. Peace and light, family, or excuse me. I hope that y'all are well. It is approximately 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 9th, 2022. And it is the last 15 minutes of my 30th year on this beautiful planet Earth as a spirit being in human form in this lifetime. So I just wanted to record a really like a video diary, video vlog. I don't really even have like a name for it. But this is like a birthday tradition that I do with myself where on the last day or the day before my birthday, which is the last day of that year, the previous year, whatever, year of life, whatever. I reflect on that year and what that year has been for me. And what I'm grateful for that year, lessons I've learned. So I'm going to do that via video and I'm going to show it to you guys. And my intention with this video is really just to like share what my journey has been for my 30th year. The highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, kind of catch you guys up on what's been going on with my life because I have been MIA from YouTube. I've been on TikTok and Instagram, but I haven't really been talking about anything like my personal life. So I'm here to let you guys know what's been going on, how this 30th year has been, this 1 year long almost hiatus kind of from YouTube. It's been about a year since I've done like a full vulnerable open video. So I'm just here to share, and what better way to do it than to show you guys or openly do it the way I do it, which is just like reflecting and just releasing releasing this year in peace. I am releasing my year of 30 in peace, and I'm saying thank you for this year. So I'm starting there, I guess, right? My year of 30 was an interesting year. I turned 30 February 10th, 2021. And, my actual birthday was very emotional because if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that at that time I had COVID on my 30th birthday. A couple weeks before that, I was at my aunt and uncle house, and my uncle had caught COVID at work, and he brought it home to me and my aunt. Me and my uncle got better. My aunt ended up getting really sick, and on my 30th birthday, 2 days before my 30th birthday, they said she only had 2 days to live. So she was expected to pass on my 30th birthday. So my 30th birthday, at that time of COVID, February 2021, they were still doing like you couldn't go, of course, to the hospital. So they were still doing like the virtual video meetings or whatever. So they set up the Zoom meeting and they propped the iPad up at the hospital, and me and my siblings were able to sit and like kind of, just spend some time with her and just talk to her and stuff like that. So my actual 30th birthday, I was recovering from COVID. I was starting a grief process. Thankfully, my birthday was the 10th. My sister was getting married on the 12th. And my aunt held on and she passed the morning of the 13th of February. So coming into my 30th year, I was grieving, and I spoke a little bit about this on, I did a live, I believe it was a live or a video. And I asked a question. I did a few videos about the grieving process, because there was also some revelations that came out that kind of sent me for a whirlwind, and things was just like, whew. For those of you who don't know, my aunt wasn't just an aunt. She was like my mother figure, I don't have a relationship with my biological mother, and my aunt was that figure, or the closest thing to a mother I had as an adult. So I was with her all the time. Again, we caught COVID together. She was my person. And so it's if anybody has ever lost a parent, anybody ever lost their mom in particular, women who's lost their mom, you understand what that is and how that transition is and how that grief process is. And my 30th year starting out was all of that. So I had did the video. I did a couple videos, but the biggest one I had did, which was like one of my last major videos on YouTube, was me asking, "Am I depressed?" And at that time, I was like, "No, I don't think I'm depressed. I think I'm just grieving. Like I'm just grieving. I think this is a part of the grief process." But unbeknownst to me, a part of the grief process is depression, or a form of depression, I should say. And I'm using that word very intentionally, and I'm going to explain why a little later on. But starting out my 30th year, my birthday was the 10th, lost my aunt on the 13th. The rest of the month was spent cleaning out her stuff and getting everything together all the way into March. We had her memorial March 13th, 1 month after her passing. And after the memorial was when I was finally able to just like sit with it and kind of like really grieve, you know what I'm saying? And that's when the grief process started for me. And again, if you've ever lost a mother or a parent or a mother figure, you understand what that process is and how long it takes. So I was doing my best to like keep up with everything and all of that stuff. And the positive side, so this is like one of the biggest lessons from my 30th year, right? Because I was watching a video with B.Simone, and I'm sorry if this video, so this is just, I'm thinking out loud, okay? So this is not going to be like super organized. I'm thinking out loud and I'm just sharing my journey with you guys. So anyway, I was watching a video with B.Simone and she was talking about like her first year making $1 million, right? And she said that, she manifested $1 million and she made $1 million, but that was her toughest year emotionally. My 30th year, I pushed through and, I was going through what I was going through when it comes to handling grief, figuring out who I am without my aunt being here. Because again, if you've ever lost a parent or a mother, especially, you have to figure out who you are, which is the part that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. You have to figure out your identity now as like without that person, you know what I'm saying? So as I was journeying through the grief process, figuring out my life and my motivation and all of that stuff, I was still pushing through and creating content and really like speaking from the heart and being authentic and just doing, literally with me creating content, it's me just spending a lot of time thinking, meditating. And what comes to me during meditation is what I record, edit, and post. So that was me creating content. It wasn't like me working super duper hard. I knew that I was grieving, so I intentionally moved myself into a space of do what you can, which is a large reason why I wasn't posting YouTube videos because, and I said this in my Patreon, shout out to the wellness community. I'm going to talk about y'all in a minute because y'all are on the gratitude list for 30, trust me. But I had posted this, something about this on my Patreon, I believe, where, in the group chat in the Patreon for the wellness community. And I was saying, I don't have it to give right now. I didn't have it to give. I was grieving those first few months, the first 6 months of my 30th year. I was in the deep stages of grief, unpacking not only the loss of my aunt, but really the loss of a perception of what her life was, you know what I'm saying? Because again, some things was revealed, some things came out, and a lot of things happened. So I was grieving and unpacking, right? So, yeah. So that was the first 6 months of my 30th year. And I was, very clear and I don't have it to give. And this is a lesson, okay? There's going to be times in life where, you know how some people say like, oh, they drained me, they drained me, they drained me. I've been drained before. I know what it feels like to be drained. I know what it looks like for me to be drained. I've been to that place where my cup was empty. Okay, because, and not just empty but bone dry, and somebody came and licked it clean, and all. Like, I have been emptied before, and I made a personal vow to myself that I would never allow myself to get back to that space. You know what I'm saying? So I was very clear in assessing how do I feel, what's going on. And once I realized that, like, with the little bit that I have left in my cup during this grief process, I need it for me. I communicated with the wellness community that, like, look, I don't have it to give right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have I don't have it. You know, I communicated with my friend circle, my family, because this is another lesson. When you are going through something, even if you don't want to talk about the details of what you're going through, or you don't want to open up and you don't feel comfortable sharing whatever, or you're not even clear about exactly how you're feeling, if you know that you just don't have it to give, communicate that you just don't have it to give. And the people who love you will support you. They will stay. They will be consistent. They will love you through this process. The people who really love you, not just love what you do for them, but really love you for who you are, they will love you through it, even when you don't have anything to give them. That's a lesson, okay? So I was really like in a space of I didn't have it to give, and I was communicating that to as many people as I could, whether it's the wellness community, my friend circle, my family, or whoever. Like, y'all, I need time. And the little bit that I was keeping for myself in the midst of it all, I was still meditating and having revelations. And when I could, I would record and edit and post it to social media, to TikTok, to Instagram, yada yada yada. And I'm connecting the whole B.Simone thing and me grieving and having this emotional time, right? So B.Simone said her first year she made $1 million was her most emotional year, and she went through deep depression and da-da-da-da. My 30th year, this year, thus far, was my most successful year doing what I do, right? And I say doing what I do because I don't really like I'm still not comfortable with the term like influencer and all of that stuff. I call myself a holistic wellness consultant, holistic wellness practitioner. That is what I do. That is who I am. Because I do one-to-one consultations and I have the wellness community, and most of my content is centered in holistic wellness and all that stuff. So that's what I call myself. Or that's how I identify, I should say. But this year was my most financially successful year doing following my passion, manifesting my dream. I've made way more money this year doing what I do than I ever did in my career as a teacher or any career I've had before this, right? Which was mainly teaching and illegal activities, okay? Before the teacher, you know what I'm saying? But this was hands down my most successful year, and I am so grateful. So that is on the gratitude list, right? On the gratitude list is like, I'm so successful. I'm so thankful for the success that I have in my year. And I am so successful, right? So let me claim that mantra. I am so successful, and my success is growing, and I'm truly, truly grateful for that. Career-wise, financially, everything. I've been so blessed. And I'm so grateful for that. So grateful. And thank you all. Thank you to everybody who follows, who subscribes, who supports, and a special thank you to the wellness community. Because even when I didn't have it to give, so many people like Sean Williams and like Sazone and Carlin and so many people. I don't want to go through listed names because I don't want to leave anybody out. So many people stepped up in the wellness community, and just shared and answered questions and, offered services and did what they could do to keep the wellness community thriving. And I appreciate you, because even when I I didn't have the energy to be involved, even when I didn't have the energy to respond, I was still reading and I was still paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, and I'm aware, and I'm screenshotting, because one day I will be able to thank you the way that I really want to thank you. You know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful for you. For everybody. I'm so grateful for the wellness community. I'm so grateful, because if you like Sean and Steph and Carlin, you know that I had, going into February, I had a whole like 1 year wellness community anniversary thing that I had planned, and then losing my aunt and going through the grief process, that just shifted everything. And again, when I didn't have it to give, the wellness community as a whole loved me through the process. And to everyone who didn't stay, for people who did decide to move on for whatever reason, because I do realize the wellness community is a $5 monthly commitment. It's $5 to join the wellness community, $5 per month. And I do realize that, you know, it is a $5 monthly commitment, and that five may be a lot for some people. And for the people who was like, look, she ain't posting like I thought she was going to be posting. She ain't having, because I used to do monthly meetings and used to go live with the wellness community, and we be on there for 6-7 hours and all of that stuff. And, you know, for people who was like, look, I miss the old wellness community with Poe involved, and I can't do it. I understand, and I appreciate you. And I understand. Okay. But this is a special shout out to the folks who stood strong and who stayed with me. And I thank you. 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 I'm so grateful for you. To everyone on Instagram, everyone who's posting and resharing my videos and all of that stuff, because the success comes from you. And if you know anything about being an influencer, you know, a lot of it comes from brand deals and doing like a lot of private things. So a lot of my most successful stuff, it really may not even be publicized to the world. I was telling the wellness community that I was doing something that I couldn't go in detail about, right? Because I have an NDA. So I was involved in some writings for some things, that the world shall benefit from, and you may see my name in some credits, okay? But yeah, and all of that is because my name has grown. You know what I'm saying? My reputation has grown, and it's from people sharing the videos and commenting and liking and subscribing and all of that stuff. You know, so the opportunities I get, I realize it's because of the community supporting me, and I'm saying thank you. So on my gratitude list, my success, my career, my abundance, and my community. It all comes from my community. So at the top of my gratitude list for 30 is my community, because the abundance is the abundance is a consequence of having an abundant community. You know what I'm saying? And having an abundant community is a consequence of manifesting an abundance of love. And manifesting an abundance of love is a consequence of being and giving and putting out love energy. You see what I'm saying? So that's another lesson. Okay. Oftentimes we try to manifest money, and we try to manifest careers, and we try to manifest all these other material things, right? You want to manifest the nice house or the high-rise apartment or whatever. And what it really is just about an energy. It's about an energy. Those things are consequences of the energy. So me having the successful career, me being financially successful, even in the midst of my grief, even in moments of depression, and you know, all of that stuff, that came because I have a beautiful, abundant, loving community. And the beautiful, abundant, loving community is a consequence of or effect of me putting out that energy. Again, and that brings it back to the very beginning, full circle. When I said the little bit that I had left, I would spend meditating, and the lessons that I was getting when I was meditating out of love and out of the desire to share and out of following my passion, the little bit that I had left, I recorded it and I put it out to the entire world the best way I could in those moments by recording those videos, editing them down to 1 minute and posting them to Instagram and to TikTok and to YouTube shorts, because I was still posting shorts on YouTube sometime, and sharing those lessons. So me putting out that energy really is what allowed all the consequences and effects of that energy to manifest into building a beautiful, amazing community, and that a community manifested abundance, financial abundance, career abundance, and abundance of opportunities and all that stuff. So I hope y'all kind of understand that, right? So that is my gratitude for 30. 30, we are, my year of 30, 2021, we were still, especially in New York, I live in New York, we were still very much in pandemic-ish. Okay, still, Omicron done hit, we went in and out of, well, I ain't gonna say in and out of lockdown, but, the mask mandate, the vaccines up here, you can't really go out to eat and sit in places without having a vaccine and all that stuff, and, all that good stuff. So, or I shouldn't say all that good stuff, but all that stuff. Okay, because it has not been great. But we're here, right? And we're thriving, and we gotta, thank God for the positives of everything that's going on right now, because it's forced us to continue to sit still for the most part. And my year of 30 has been a lot of like sitting still and appreciating. So I haven't done any like big travels and stuff like that. This year has really just been spent feeling my feelings and growing my career. Growing my platforms. And honestly, again, growing my platforms wasn't even the intention. The intention was just, keeping my head above water, making a way when you can, like seriously, in the midst of, y'all, and first off, don't drag me, because I know I was gonna say I know I can't sing, but you know what it is? I can sing. It's just that your ears have not developed to my vocal tune. Okay. But yeah, this year of 30 has been spent sitting still, growing my career, and just really like enjoying the space that I'm in while still feeling my feelings. And I spoke about some lessons that I learned, and I'm sharing some lessons. I spoke about things that I'm grateful for and people that I'm grateful for. But y'all, that the lows during my 30s, grief is a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a thing. And like I said, those first 6 months or so of my 30s was a lot of unpacking, a lot of feeling. And I posted about this on Instagram, like dealing with depression and what that looked like for me. And this is me circling back to depression, and why I'm using the word very intentionally, because I do. And first off, trigger warning. We're talking about depression. Okay, I'll clip this out and put this in the beginning of the video. But what I'm using this word very mindfully, because depression looks different for everyone. Depression feels different for everyone. And for me, because I'm very intentional about checking in with myself, I'm constantly asking myself, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? And which, I don't want to get off topic, but that was also a part of my healing journey, of healing from emotional detachment from growing up in trauma, right? So me checking in with myself and feeling my feelings involves me asking myself often, like, how do you feel? And when I realized that I was feeling depressed, I was feeling down, I immediately went to my coping mechanisms, which my coping mechanisms is to be in solitude and give myself room to feel all of my feelings. So I felt everything. I felt the loss of my aunt. I spent many days crying and grieving her no longer physically being here. I spent time reflecting and writing my journal and releasing those feelings out. I spent times going through our text messages and reading our messages and all that stuff, and watching videos and looking at the pictures and talking to my sister and about, how we feel, and reminiscing, and with my niece and everything. And, just like gathering with family, like, and all that stuff. But really just like feeling all the feels connected to her no longer physically being here. And my aunt is the person, once again, she was like my mother figure. So she, you think about like, dang, today I would be at auntie house, auntie would be frying fish, or like even the other day I was going to somewhere and I was told my sister, I said, dang, I said normally I would go to this appointment and call auntie, like, auntie, I'm on the way over, and she gonna be like, oh, okay, and she gonna throw something on the stove and we gonna watch a movie together, and I'll go over there and eat, and we chill and talk and laugh and kiki, and I'm gonna come on home. Like, it was that thing, so you just like, those moments I was feeling it. And I allowed myself to feel it. The key to depression, or healing from depression, or moving through depression, thriving through depression. And I'm using all of these terms because these are all the things, but the key to it for me is allowing myself to feel every feeling. I don't try to pretend like it's not happening. I don't try to pretend like I'm not there, which is why it was important for me to address that video where I was asking, am I depressed? And I was like, no, I think I'm just grieving. But then realizing that depression was a part of grief, and I just hadn't reached the phase of depression yet. So once I reached that phase of depression, notice that's when I took a break. That's when I stepped back. That's when I went into solitude. That's when I allowed myself to like, okay, how are we feeling? And I immediately like went within. That's when I put the messages out there like, look, y'all, I don't have it to give right now. That's when I stopped answering the phones and stopped doing consultations and all of that stuff. I just didn't have it, So I prioritized me. So a few lessons from that, right? Moving through depression, my personal tips of what helps me: prioritizing myself. I chose me. Because if you don't choose you when you need you, how do you expect anybody else to choose you? I chose me. And thank God I'm in a position to be able to do this. But I stepped back from everything, took a pause, chose me, and allowed myself to feel my feelings. So choosing me, constantly checking in with myself, asking myself, how do I feel? Allowing myself to feel all the feelings, releasing those feelings via journaling, doing release ceremonies and all kind of stuff. But the thing about depression, and what how I know for me, because again, depression is different for everybody, but how I know for me is depression is when the feelings linger, the sadness lingers, and it keeps going and keeps going. I'm usually a person who, I could have a moment and move forward and meditate through it, and I'm good. But it keeps day after day, and then month after month, and then it's for me, I'm watching the moon. So it's like, I'm very in tune with the moon. What I talk about, I be about, so when it's a new moon and I'm still feeling the same feelings I felt last moon cycle, then the now full moon, and I'm still feeling the same feelings I felt last moon cycle, and now we moved into another moon cycle and I'm still feeling the same feelings. That's what I know about the third moon cycle, and I'm still feeling down and out. This is depression, you know what I'm saying? So calling it what it is, not being in denial about it, choosing me, feeling my feelings, working through it, and just also knowing that I am well. I still was continuing to drink my herbs, and I upped my herbs. Actually, that's when you notice on Instagram in my stories, I was posting the Dr. Sabi's Bush Bitters and the Elderberry Plus, and I'm taking my sea moss and still doing my herbal teas and stuff and my own personal remedies, but I'm doubling everything and, just really like pushing myself to prioritize my wellness. Something that's important for me during depression is not allowing myself to physically move away from routine, right? So still every day getting up and getting in the shower, taking good hot showers, and intentional, like I'm taking meditation showers. If you look at my shower right now, I should take a picture of it and like post it in this video, but I have like Dr. Teal's eucalyptus spearmint body wash, the lavender one, Dove lavender. I have like 10 body washes right now because I was very intentional about aromatherapy while I'm in the shower. I'm very intentional about, just making sure that everything I do was intentional and for my wellness. So upping all the remedies. That's what I was doing. I didn't fall out of my routine, forcing myself. And I know, again, I'm saying again that depression is different for everyone, and this is what worked for me. And I do recognize that for some people, they just can't. They just can't get out the bed. They just can't get in the shower. They just can't eat the food. The problem for me was I was eating a little too much food. Okay, shout out to the depression weight gain, which I'll talk about that as well for my 30th year. Like weight gain. I did gain some weight my 30th year, and I'm unapologetic about it because it's a part of fucking life, okay? And I'm still cute, you know what I'm saying? But I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, so that's how I worked and moved through depression for myself. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I hope that helps some people. Yeah, I hope that helps. So that's where I was for, like I said, the first 6 months or so. But again, still meditating and still recording and, recording these lessons in my notes. I have like a bunch of, so that's something I do like when I meditate, when I have moments of just thinking. And when I'm feeling my feelings, I write. I'm constantly asking myself, like, what can you learn from this? Like, what's the point of this? And I'm writing. And that's where a lot of my content comes from. It literally comes from me just sitting in silence and sitting in solitude and just writing these lessons, writing these revelations and sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing what's helping me and all of that stuff. And that's my content. You know what I'm saying? It's my content. It's authentically who I am, which is why I was able to still do it even though I was feeling all these feelings and in deep depression, because I was sharing my authentic self, sharing my authentic revelations. You know what I'm saying? So that's another lesson for anybody out there who wants to be like an influencer or wants to, be a content creator or whatever. Move in your authenticity. Record, do whatever is authentic for you, because when you are doing that, it won't be hard. It won't be difficult. What became difficult for me, and I'm not even going to say difficult, but with the parts that I had to back up from, was how much of myself I was giving. You know what I'm saying? I only had a little bit in me. That I had all of myself. I had to preserve for myself. I only had a little bit that I could give. And I'm saying the little bit I had to give, that's where you would get in the 1-minute reels and the TikTok videos and the YouTube shorts and stuff like that. So yeah. Be your authentic self and everything else shall flow easily for you. Okay, so that's another lesson. So I think I went through, as far as like my, what I was grateful for, what I am grateful for my year of 30, what I was doing. Okay. I wasn't doing anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? This year that you guys haven't seen me, I was healing. That's what I was doing. This 30th year of mine, I was healing. I was feeling, and I was moving, according to what I was able to do. And that's what I've been doing. And yeah, the last few months of my 30th year have been me, I feel like the flower blooming again. You know what I'm saying? Like me rediscovering the new me. I shouldn't say rediscovering. I should say discovering the new me, because I feel like a lot of times what we do is we try to go back and like, I want to get back to my old self. I want to get back to my old self. My old self, a part of my old self was having my aunt present, and a part of my old self was, it was just different, and I'm not my old self anymore. I am a new version of me. My old self is still a part of me, but I'm discovering the new version of me, and the new version of me is here. And I'm still unpacking her, and I'm still blooming her, and I'm still growing her, and still getting to know her. The new version of me is more focused. The new version of me is more intentional. The the new version of me is more present. I've been practicing being more present because I am a hustler. I am a go-getter. I am a dreamer. I am a critical thinker. So I'm constantly on the grind, 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 physically and in my mind. I'm constantly thinking, what's next? What's up? What we gonna do? What's going on? What's the move? All right, how we gonna do this? How we gonna do that? Da 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 da. This gotta be done. That gotta be done. I'm constantly like the to-do list queen, right? And I'm focusing on being more present, being more conscious, being more aware. So that's where I am right now, discovering and growing and thriving a new, better version of myself. Yeah. And before I move on to with 31, like my vision for 31 or whatever, I want to go back and address the weight gain thing, right? Because I said I was going to address that. So I talked about grief. I talked about moving through depression. I talked about my career, my y'all know my love life. I keep that. I know people like, you ain't talking about your love life. What's going on with your love? Y'all know I keep that private for the most part. I may share some things in the future. Okay. But don't be nosy. But yeah. For the weight gain thing, right? So a part of the pressure for me, of course, eating. I'm not gonna say like necessarily overeating, but the issue was like the lack of physical activity. So I'm a person, like, I'm prone to gain weight. I've been a thick girl my whole life. I've been a big girl my whole life. Literally, like, my whole life I was a big girl. So for me, being active, physically active, is very important. And I, of course, when I was, in the schools, I worked on the 4th floor of a school. So I was constantly going up, down multiple flights of steps a day. And on top of that, I was working out and doing what I could to stay, as physically fit for me, my version of physically fit, which as a big girl, my version of physically fit is usually about like a size 16 to 18 for me. You know what I'm saying? That's since high school, since like 9th grade. That's been like my version of fit, right? For me. But being in the pandemic, not working out as much, being in, going through the grief process, not being as physically active, and all that stuff. And on top of that, like, basically just like eating and not moving, that caused me to gain some weight. And I haven't been on the scale, so I don't know exactly how much weight I've gained, but I just know that my clothes is fitting a little snugger. Okay. Things is a little tighter. Okay. Buttons is a little like, I gotta suck it in and squeeze it in. Okay. What Beyonce said, if you ain't got to jump, if you ain't jumping to put jeans on, then you ain't in my life, whatever. She said, I'm jumping to put them jeans on. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It is like that, But yeah, the thing is, and this is a message, especially to my sisters, but to anybody, who may struggle with body image issues or whatever. The key for me is loving my body regardless of what size. My entire life, my weight has fluctuated. Again, I can go anywhere from a size 16 to a 24. Okay, I've actually been as big as a 26, 28. Okay, and then I lost it. Y'all know, before I talked about losing over 150 pounds. And, since then I can go from about a size 18 up to like a 20, pushing 22, anywhere between there. So really between 18 and 22, right? But right now I'm assuming I'm about like a 20 maybe, because them 18s is snug, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we pushing through, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, for me, is I learned at a very young age the value of loving my body at any and every size. And I do recognize, I was talking to one of my friends who's a fellow big girl, you know what I'm saying, big gal ting. She has, she's a different shape woman, and she always, we talk about body privilege. So I do recognize, as I say this, I do recognize that there is a privilege in being like a traditional societal acceptable example of body shape, right? So my waist, I have bigger breasts, smaller waist, bigger hips, bigger butt, right? what some people would call a Coke bottle shape. So I can gain weight and I'm still gonna have that shape. And so as I say this, I'm acknowledging that, for people out there who may have their own struggles with their body image or whatever. But for me personally, I'm saying that what helps me as I gain weight, what helps me is loving my body regardless of whatever size I am in. Looking in the mirror and finding beauty in my body regardless of what size I'm in, with or without the weight. Feeling good, looking good, dressing sexy. You know what I'm saying? I could be in my house and I'm going to put on some lingerie. You know what I'm saying? A little lace bra. I had to throw this on because right now I got on, a little number, you know what I'm saying? A little piece. Okay, a little piece. But whether I'm dressing sexy, or even if I'm dressing sexy for somebody else to see it, I'm always dressing sexy for me to see it first. You know what I'm saying? Like, and whether you get what I'm saying. I'm private, but I like to look good for me. So that's something that helps me, is like looking in the mirror and feeling good and feeling sexy. And even on those days I don't feel it, I do what I know is going to make me feel sexy, right? So if I'm having a day where I'm like, yo, I done gained some weight, like this ain't what's going on, that day I'm intentionally going to pull out my sexiest lacy bra. I'm going to pull out my sexiest robe if I'm just going to be in the house. If I'm going out, I'm going to put on my cute whatever we going to pop the girls, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure that I'm you know what I'm saying, looking voluptuous and edible. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to go out and be edible looking, you know what I'm saying? And get treated edibly, you know what I'm saying? But that's what helps me feel better about me on days that I'm not feeling good about me, is dressing sexy, looking good to feel good. And it works for me, so that's another little piece of advice I could give. And just, again, loving myself through all forms, or through all shapes, I should say. Not all shapes, but all sizes of my body. Okay? So that is my review of 30. Okay? I feel like I've touched on pretty much everything. Let me sit for a second, see if I have anything else I want to say. Oh. And I feel like I kind of went through this with my when I talked about being grateful for like the wellness community and just like the people who stayed. But I really want to also, spend some special time highlighting my tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like my sister queens, y'all know who y'all are. My family, my siblings, my sister, my niece, my eldest niece, you know what I'm saying? Like the people who really support me and have been, just so consistent and so great to me. And just there and just present. Like, I'm so grateful for the people who are there. Like, I promise you, I think about this often. I often think about and assess the people I have in my life, and I often assess my tribe, and check in with myself of, do I feel reciprocity? And the people who are here for a reason. I'm so grateful for you. I thank you. You make it easy loving you. And I hope I make it easy loving me, even though I know I don't answer the phone all the time. You know what I'm saying? I respond to the text though. I got better with that. I'm trying to get better with my phone communication, y'all. My tribe be on me. Okay, they be on me. But I'm not a phone person, but I'm growing. As they grow to accept that I'm not really a phone person, I'm growing to be more of a phone person. You know what I'm saying? For them. Okay, so I just want to say I'm grateful for y'all. I love y'all. I feel you. I pray for you constantly, and I know that you pray for me. And to everyone who wished me well, again, the community, the wellness community, my YouTube community, my Instagram community, my TikTok community, every supporter, every family member, every friend, I am grateful for you. I am grateful for you. I am grateful for you. And it is only up from here. So this video is already be super long, so I'll probably do a separate video with my vision for 31 and discussing that. But this is how I wrap up my year of 30. This is how, this is how I do my birthdays, right? Just giving gratitude and giving thanks and acknowledging the highs and giving thanks for the highs and acknowledging the lows and giving thanks for the lows and extracting the lessons and sharing those lessons. And hopefully we manifest those into more and more blessings. Okay? Much peace, much abundance. And I ain't making no commitments right now, okay? So I ain't about to say like, oh, y'all gonna start seeing me. I'm about to start going live. I ain't about to say that. Okay. I ain't about to commit to that right now. But what I can say is I've been feeling the itch. I've been feeling the itch, you know what I'm saying? And I do miss it. I miss YouTube. I see your comments like, Queen, we miss you on YouTube. I see y'all in my Instagram and stuff, okay? I know. I miss y'all too, and I love y'all. And thank y'all for watching this video. And again, thank you for supporting. I love you, love you, love you. Much peace, much prosperity, much abundance, much love, light, wisdom, and we are thriving. We are well. Ashe. Amen. Amen. Peace, family.